What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. This video, I'm going to go over some basketball games for Saturday, April 2nd, 2022. I'm going to show you some highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks today. Let's go ahead and get into the games. We are going to be looking at the Final Four for men's college basketball: Villanova versus Kansas and North Carolina versus Duke. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers, numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is I have one team up top, their coach's record, their season record, any type of winning or losing streak that they're on. Obviously, they're on a winning streak because they wouldn't have made it that far into the tournament. Also, their tournament record as a team as well. In the middle is the head-to-head record between the two teams, and at the bottom is the other team, their season record, their winning streak, their NCAA tournament record as a team, their coach's record, and I have them structured the same for both. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and forth and look at some of these numbers here. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Get a bigger screen going. Start with the first game of Villanova, the number 2 seed Villanova versus the number 1 seed Kansas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go over some numbers for Kansas. Usually I go over the home team first, but this is on neutral ground. So I'll just go with the team on the bottom, which is usually the home team. I'll go over their numbers first, and then I'll go over some numbers for Villanova for them to win the game. Okay, so starting with Kansas, if Kansas was going to win this game and advance into the championship, some things that they have going for them is today has 48 date numerology on the Gregorian. 48, if you write it out, sums to 137. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Kansas can get their 33rd win for this season as they sit on 48 NCAA tournament losses as a team with a win. Kansas would even the score 5-5 head-to-head against Villanova as Kansas coach gets his 555th win as a coach specifically for Kansas. This is Kansas' 39th game for this season, and they could give Villanova their 39th loss for the NCAA tournament as a team. This being the 10th all-time head-to-head, either one of these two teams can get their 10th win in a row. But if Kansas does it, they become 5-5 head-to-head against Villanova. 55 is the 10th triangular number. It could go with Kansas getting that 10th in a row, and then their coach getting that 5-5-5. Honestly, though, none of these numbers really impress me for Kansas because they're all surface layer. If I were to actually look towards Kansas to win this game and to go into the championship, I would have to look towards the date numerology for the championship game. It'll be played on April 4th, 4/4. It's going to be a day with 50 date numerology on the Gregorian. And this is what I would do if I was liking Kansas. This is what would get me to pick Kansas. This is Kansas's 50th appearance in the NCAA tournament, according to ESPN. This is their 50th appearance, and the championship game will be played on a day with 50 date numerology. Kansas, their coach, he can sit on 229 losses for his career with a win, 229 mathematically. 229 mathematically is the 50th prime number. So if I was going to pick Kansas, that would be the main reason why. It'd be the 50. It'd be in their 50th appearance. Their coach can sit on that 229, the 50th prime number, knowing that the championship game would be played on a day with 50 date numerology. And that's kind of what I have for Kansas. If Villanova was going to win this game, Villanova They could simply just go ahead and just get their 31st win for the season, as Kansas becomes 4-6 head to head against Kansas, or as Kansas becomes 4-6 head to head against Villanova with the loss. Excuse me. Yeah, so Villanova can get their 31st win for the season, as Kansas becomes 4-6 head to head against Villanova. 31 mathematically sums to 46. Also, the number 41 sums to 46 as well. And this is Villanova's 41st appearance in the NCAA tournament. So in their 41st appearance, Kansas can fall 4-6. 41 sums to 46. As Villanova gets their 31st win for the season, 31 sums to 46. This is Villanova's 38th game for the season, and it is Kansas's 39th game for the season. Yeah, Villanova can get their 39th loss as a team in the tournament, but Villanova could just easily sit on 38 losses in their 38th game. Maybe they get their 39th loss in their 39th game, which would be the championship game. There's potential for that. What else? Villanova coach, he would get his 521st win as a coach for Villanova, as Kansas coach gets his 125th loss as a coach for Kansas, 125, 521. They're just anagrams of each other. And Villanova will become 31-7 for a season record with a win. 31-7 is the 66th prime number. They would be getting their 6th head-to-head win against them at the same time. The 66 prime, get their 6th win. Could be a 6 pattern. And today does have 28 date numerology on the Gregorian. 28 if you write it out, or not write it out, but if you look at the number properties for 28, you find that it's the 7th triangular number. This could be why Kansas could get their 7th loss for the season to end their season. That could be a reason why. Looking towards the championship game for Villanova, it will be played on the 3rd day of the 1st month for the Hebrew religious side of the calendar, kind of like 31. That could be another reason why Villanova gets their 31st win heading into the championship game. They could be sitting on 31 wins on the 3rd day of the 1st month for the Hebrew, like 31. Also, it's the 3rd day of the 8th month, like 38. Like I was saying, this is their 38th game. They can sit on 38 losses as a team for the tournament. And so the championship game is on a day with the 3rd day of the 8th month for the Hebrew civil side. They can sit on that 38 in their 38th game, and then they'll head into the championship sitting on 38 on the 3rd day of the 8th month, like 38. And what else? I think that might be it. $72. Let's do what 72 sums to. 72 sums to 48. So that could help Villanova for the Final Four, 48 date numerology. They can get their 72nd win as a team. 72 sums to 48. They would sit on 38 losses in their 38th game. And then they would head into the championship game on the 3rd day of the 8th month for the Hebrew civil, like 38. So those would be some contributing factors for the Villanova, as well as some contributing factors for Kansas. Let's move on to the next game, North Carolina and Duke. Nice little history rematch here between these two teams. Now, the tricky thing here is Duke and Kansas both have the same season record. So if we see Kansas lose, there could be a chance that Duke loses. And if we see Kansas winning because of the 33, we could potentially see Duke winning because of the 33. Duke would get their 33rd win, and I already talked about 48 date numerology. 48 sums to 137, the 33rd prime number. So the same reason for Duke to win could be the same reason for Kansas to win. They both have the same record, but at the same time, Duke, they can sit on 38 losses in the NCAA tournament with a win, very similar to Villanova. Villanova could sit on that 38. I talked about how the championship game will be on the third day of the 8th month for the Hebrew Civil, like 38. It could be Villanova sitting on 38 losses, and it could very well be Duke sitting on 38 losses in the championship game on the third day of the 8th month, like 38. That could play in favor for Duke. It is North Carolina's 38th game for the season, which could play in favor for Duke. But outside of that, honestly, outside of the 33 and the potential 38 connection, these numbers don't really give me a whole lot to work with as far as connections, in my opinion. I'm not seeing a whole lot of connections. That's why there's not a whole lot marked for either game, really. These are going to be some tricky games. I think one of these two games might be an upset. It's just figuring out which one is it going to be. Is it going to be Duke going home, or is it going to be Kansas going home? Most people will say Kansas is going home because of Coach K and Duke, which actually makes me like North Carolina more because more people are going to be on Duke. But Duke has a great narrative with the coach, Coach K, retiring. I mean, it doesn't get any more controversial than that. Also, Duke, it's their 44th appearance in the NCAA tournament, and the championship game will be played on April 4th, 4/4, like 44. Could be a little insight, a little clue. Outside of that, North Carolina, they can sit on 28 wins for the season with the loss. This game will be played on a day with 28 date numerology. They can sit on 28 wins for the season with the loss. And that's really all I see. It is the number 2 seed versus the number 8 seed, like 28. Maybe that will keep North Carolina on that 28. With the championship game being on the third day of the 8th month, like 38, I think that's Duke's best hand. They're sitting on 38 losses as a team. Their coach would sit on 308 losses as a coach for Duke, which kind of looks like a 38. The only thing that would trip that up is that this is Duke's 39th game for the season, and they can get their 39th loss for the tournament as their coach gets his 309th loss, which kind of looks like a 39. Today does have 28 date numerology. It is the 2 seed versus the 8 seed, like 28. I've already shown you guys 28 is the 7th triangular number, and Duke can just go ahead and get their 7th loss for the season. Like I said, Duke and Kansas, their records are identical. So you might almost want to wait and see what happens in the Kansas and Villanova game. If Kansas wins or loses, it could foreshadow what's going to happen to Duke. But at the same time, well, yeah, maybe. I mean, we saw this last Saturday with Houston and Duke. They both became 32-6 on March 26, 3/26. Houston lost and became 32-6. Duke won, became 32-6. So we could see very well a 33-6 Duke versus a 33-6 Kansas because they have the same record. That's potential there. But at the same time, it could just be Villanova sitting on that 38, facing Duke sitting on that 38, where the championship game will be played on the third day of the 8th month, like 38. Another thing that you could say, though, is it's the first day of the 8th month on the Hebrew Civil for the Final Four. North Carolina is the 8th seed. Kansas is the 1st seed. Maybe it's Kansas and North Carolina, the 8th seed and the 1 seed on the first day of the 8th month, like 1 and 8. If North Carolina were to win, they'd be sitting on 48 losses as a team for the tournament on a day with 48 date numerology. Both these two are on a 4-game winning streak. It could, for Duke to be in their 44th appearance, it could mean that North Carolina ends their 4-game winning streak, or it could mean Duke ends their 4-game winning streak. Outside of that, though, I don't know. Not much to go by, really. These games, these numbers, I don't really trust the surface level numbers for these games for college basketball. You know, something as simple as 33 or 48, something as simple as 33 or 48. I don't really trust them. I've seen them not hit plenty of times for college basketball, the surface layer stuff. But there's just not a lot of numbers here to work with in general, in my opinion. I'm sure I can scrounge up some numbers if I really wanted to. Like, if I really wanted to put together a narrative for you guys and just make shit up, I could if I wanted to. But I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying not to just make up any old connection. That's what I'm trying not to do. I'm not trying not to just connect anything and everything. I want some type of pattern here, some type of pattern that I can follow, or a pattern that I've seen in the past that interests me. And I'm just not seeing it for North Carolina or the Duke game, and I'm not seeing it for the Villanova and the Kansas game. Like I said, for Kansas, if I was going to get serious with Kansas, it's going to be that 50. It's the 50th appearance. It's their coach sitting on that 229, the 50th prime. It's knowing that the championship game is on a day with 50 date numerology, if I was going to get serious with Kansas. However, if I was going to get serious with Villanova, in the back of my mind, it's that 38. Them just sitting on 38. This is their 30th game for the season. They can sit on 38 NCAA tournament losses with a win. The championship game will be on the third day of the 8th month, like 38. It could just be as simple as that. And same goes with Duke and North Carolina. Duke, although it is their 39th game for the season and they could get their 39th tourney loss, they could easily just sit on that 38, go into the championship on the third day of the 8th month, like 38. It's their 44th appearance. Championship will be on the 4th of April, 4-4. That's about all I have. Nothing extravagant, nothing fancy, nothing amazing, nothing mind-blowing. It's basically just making your best guess. That's all it is. You're just guessing. That's all it is. It's just a guess. Don't try and play yourself and thinking it's anything more than a guess. It's not. It's just a guess. You know, don't gas yourself up thinking you've solved the world's puzzle. You didn't. It's just a guess. It's a tough one, too. I'm going to make a pick on these. I'll make a pick on these either way. Will I bet money on these? I don't know. I don't really feel the need to. Not with these games right now. Ooh, here's something interesting. Villanova. It's their coach's 716th game as a coach for Villanova. Kansas coach can sit on 761 wins for his career with the loss. 761, 716. They're just anagrams of each other. That could be another thing that would go against Kansas in favor of Villanova. But if Villanova and Duke are in the championship, I would blame it on the word Duke. Duke sums to 22. Duke is the number 2 seed. Villanova is the number 2 seed. Villanova is in their 41st appearance. Duke sums to 41 and 22. It could be a Duke versus Villanova. I really think there might be an upset on Saturday. It's just, which game is it going to be? Is it going to be Villanova or is it going to be North Carolina? If North Carolina does the upset, you could blame it on the Hebrew. First day of the 8th month, like 18 or 81. North Carolina, the 8th seed. Kansas, the number 1 seed, 8-1-1-8. But I'm going to keep looking these over. Try and make some sense of them. This video probably doesn't help that much. It's not the greatest of videos. There's not a whole lot of clues to work with. If you take anything from this video, understand that this isn't an easy game. Just know that. These aren't easy games. So if you're struggling to kind of find which side you want to be on, you're not alone. I'm struggling to find which side I want to be on too. Duke, something that can go against Duke. Duke can sit on 32 wins for the season with a loss as North Carolina gets their 131st win as a team for the tournament, 131 to 32nd prime. So that could be something. And then in their 39th game, they get their 39th loss for the tournament. So that could be something right there in favor for North Carolina. If it did, in fact, become North Carolina with the win and they get their 143rd all-time head-to-head win against Duke, again, we can blame it on the first day of the 8th month, like 18 or 81. And 18 written out sums to 143. So, you know, there's different things you can poke at. There's different things you can bring up. At the end of the day, I personally think this is a tough game. And anybody who says these are easy games to call, I would just ignore them. They're way too gassed up on their own fumes to even realize what the real world is. These games are not easy. But I wish you guys the best of luck. Hopefully this helps a little bit, me talking through it. And hopefully you win all the money in the world. I really wish you guys the best luck on all your picks. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support.